road to the burnout. GBR rematch. We're rolling down the back road to the burnout box. Tailgate talking about the tree and the clocks. Going bracket racing, pop pumping loud on the dash. Where the country boys winch and the city boys clash. When that pre-stage flickers, everybody gets quiet. Hit the loud pedal hard, let the whole crowd riot. Yeah, we got mud on the tires, slicks in the trailer, VP in the jug, beer in the cooler. From the clap of the headers to the smell of that glue. GBR, tune in if you live in that dream. Casey on the mic, bringing heat like July. Breaking down the bracket game with the sharp eagle eye. George jump in, dropping takes like a hammer. Two-man crew shouting bracket racing grammar. Double O's hitters, green light splitters. Top bulb kings and blow a car wizards. We're rolling down the back road to the burnout box. Tailgate talking about the tree and the clocks. Going bracket racing, pop pumping loud on the dash. Where the country boys wrench and the city boys clash. When that pre-stage flickers, everybody gets quiet. Hit the loud pedal hard, let the whole crowd riot. Yeah. I got the cooler in the bed and the grill on low. Shooting breeze, bout the stripe in the margin to go. From the big money races to your local track porch. Ain't nobody call it cleaner than Casey and George. Rubbing the throttle, playing old school tricks. The kind you only learn after thousands of hits. It's the GBR code from the farm to the town. Take it to the track and we'll all throw down. Fire suit swinging on a hook by the trees. Warm pit winds drifting soft in the breeze. If you know the feel of that Tuesday night air, then you know Casey and George, cause they're right there. I got the cooler in the bed and the grill on low. Shooting breeze, bout the stripe and the margin to go. From the big money races to your local track porch. Ain't nobody call it cleaner than Casey and George. Pumping the throttle, playing old school tricks. The kind you only learn after thousands of hits. It's the GBR code from the farm to the town. Take it to the track and we'll all throw down. From the hollers to the highways, they keep it alive. Casey and George riding shotgun on the drive. So crank it up loud when the engines...
What's up, everybody? It's a nice polleny day here in North Carolina. I can tell you that. And it doesn't seem like there's any end in sight. March 24th, 2026, episode 228 of the Going Bracket Racing Live podcast, brought to you for free every single week on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all kinds of other apps that I don't even know which ones they are anymore. I think at one point we were on iHeartRadio. Who knows? But anyway, thank those people that give this to you for free every single week. TSR Racing Products, Power Glides, Turbo 350s, 400, 727 transmissions, parts, accessories, all kinds of stuff you need over there. Give them a call. BRG 3D printed parts. Anything you need, Brian Garrett will print it up for you. I think he's got some new stuff actually on the line that you're going to see on the Going Bracket Racing Facebook page. So don't forget to follow that, because I think that'll be coming out sometime tomorrow. Keep your eyes out for that. Syntex Printing out there in Temple, Texas. Sticker shirts, brochures, anything you need for your business. Driven Racing Oil. Man, I got a Driven shirt on this week too. I think I had one on every single week. They're really getting their money's worth over there. But guess what? If you want to keep your money in your pocket, use the code GBR10 on drivenracingoil.com. Get 10% off your order no matter what you buy. They got all kinds of stuff. They got oil for your truck, oil for your race car. They got transmission fluid now. I just dumped a whole bunch of ATR transmission fluid in the Chevelle, which we're going testing this week. As long as the weather stays good, we'll see how that stuff works out, man. I'm very excited to use it. And you use the code GBR10, get yourself 10% off your order again on all kinds of stuff over there. Cleaning products too. Proform Parts. Visit proformparts.com for shop tools, carburetors, starters, alternators, radiators, accessories, tools, all kinds of stuff. Proformparts.com. Crew Chief Pro software. Get your dial-ins in order. Get your new combination figured out a lot quicker than you can. Visit crewchiefpro.com. Get you a copy of that. Bases everything off those weather predictions. Get a couple runs under your belt. Put it in the computer, and all of a sudden it's going to start spitting out times that are more accurate than you know. Gearhead Solutions, great customer service, access to thousands of vendors. Gearheadsolutions.com is the place to get all of those parts. Get them a little cheaper and usually get them in a couple days at most. And don't deal with an idiot on the phone usually. That's typically number one, in my opinion. And, of course, Midstate Dragway up there in Havana, Illinois. They got a quick 16 deal going on. In fact, they just released their new flyer again on the Going Bracket Racing Facebook page. You ought to see that because I think it's a Back to the Future type theme deal. Pretty cool. But that should be on this back screen right now, but I forgot to update it, unfortunately, today. So We'll get that on for next week. Then you all can see it, and they will be happy with us at the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel and podcast. George, what's going on, man?
Hey man, not much at all. You said it was pretty polleny out there with you. I'm not so sure I've ever heard that word, but I think I might adopt that. All right, I'm gonna keep that one in the old George dictionary. Cedar here. I mean, cedar and everything's budding. The noses are definitely running in my house. I don't have allergies, so no bueno for me. I'm good to go. I don't. Y'all keep that stuff, Casey. But before we get going, I gotta do it, man, because I felt like I really had a brother on the internet, you know what I mean? And never really ever met Barn. But sad to hear that Barn passed away this, maybe last week, this time a little bit sooner in the week or whatever the case may be. Thanks, shout out to his family and for everything that he done for the sport of drag racing. Casey across the board jumped in here and going bracket racing as a moderator as soon as he heard about us, So definitely we'll be sad to see him go, and at least he's going to the upper room. We know that much, and that's always a good thing. But I get to pick up the bullet probably Thursday. Mr. Veals called and said come get him. So I guess my car will go back together sometime within the next couple of days, and we'll be ready to go drag racing. But I'm not gonna hold the line too long, guys. As you know, it's all about wasting fuel today, man. And I don't know if it's wasting fuel, having to spend so much money at the pumps, or if it's wasting fuel at the racetrack because you just can't get the job done. But I'm going to bring another different type of wasted fuel to you by way of Adam Jakubchek and Jesse Fritz. Wasting Fuel Promotions in the house right here on GBR. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Let's get it going. What's going on?
Well,
Hi, George. Thanks for having us.
yeah, it's great to be here. Appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk to you guys.
Hey, right on, right on. Welcome to Going Bracket Racing, as always, and everybody in the stands who follow us for this long. We start drag racing talk on this channel with the number one question. And I'm going to throw it to you first, Jesse. How did you get into this sport? What happened, dog? Did you get bit by a bug somehow? What happened?
Well, yeah, I guess you could say I was indoctrinated from a young age. I grown up around my grandparents, and I've got pictures of myself sitting in my grandpa's top alcohol funny car when I was, not much shorter than I am now, to be honest with you, but I was pretty young. So, I was always inspired by that, and I have VHS tapes of my grandpa running funny car in the 90s, and I think from as soon as I could speak, I had little funny car toys I would push around as a toddler. So it was drag racing from the start. I've never known anything else. I started at 8 years old in the junior and went all the way through that, and I've still got too many race cars now. So it's Grandpa's fault, and we're here today.
I heard that. Come on, Adam, what you got, buddy?
Yeah, kind of similar situation to Jesse. My dad was big into racing back in the 90s and everything. And then, before I came along, kind of took a break for a few years there. And then once I got to be old enough to jump in a junior, him and my mom went and bought me my first junior, and, kind of took off with it from there. Just after that, along for the ride. And it's all led to here.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. So we all have similar stories. Of course, it was my dad. I'm sure it was Casey's dad, and so we all got bit by the bug, and it was just inevitable. That's what I hear.
Yeah, man.
There was
So
no choice.
no, the question I have more than anything, and this might be something that you guys might still be wondering what you're doing too, but what made you want to promote events? Because that is a lot more difficult than just going racing. So what why did that even come up?
Well, I guess it people in the sport like Tyler Bohannon and Peter Biondo, those people, they're you look at them, you look up to them. If you're in my shoes, growing up, they have been in their prime or are in their prime, and you see what they're doing, and I always wanted to leave personally wanted to leave a footprint in the sport, something that, people might remember me by, things that I could improve, things that I did, people that I could help. And I had an opportunity pop up last year. It's always kind of been on the back burner, and I took it. And unfortunately, one of my close family friends passed away, and they wanted to do a memorial race. And the more we talked about it, the more it was like, hey, let's just rent the track. Originally, I was just going to come and consult, and it turned into, well, let's rent the track and do our own thing. And so we did, and it went, really well last year. That was the Rosalie Noble Memorial Race, and we had nearly 200 cars, and now it's snowballed, and we want to keep doing this. And Terry's, or Rosalie's family, and Terry's husband wanted to do a one and done for Rosalie, and so that's kind of how we've evolved into where we're at today with the Coal Rush 20s at Benton.
So how's Adam get involved with this whole mess?
He was my first phone call. As when I found out that when I decided that we were going to rent the track, I called him. I said, "Are you available?" His work at TB, it was always impressive, being the age we are, and being involved with 41, basically straight out of juniors. The people see that, I saw that, and I believed in him, so I gave him a call, and he was involved from the start. And this year we're 50-50 partners, so I'm happy to have him, and I'll let him comment on that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that, Adam. So you work for TB Promotions, is that right?
Yeah. So, for me, it kind of all started, when I was about 11 or 12 years old. I used to go up, in the tower at Byron Dragway after for the day in juniors or in between rounds, whatever it was. And, I would go up there with Ron Leak, and Ron kind of taught me, how to announce and everything. That's what it started with, was just with the microphone. And then as I got older, I had opportunities to go work elsewhere. And I actually went to 41 and worked under Steve Keys for, God, I think it was 5 years or something like that. I can't even remember it. It was long enough, that's for sure. But then that led me to Brian and Tyler, and the team at Flicker Promotions, Johnny, Madison, Ryan, those guys. So just different opportunities kind of crept up along the road, and then there we were. Like Jesse said, he called me and said, "Hey, I have this idea," and I just said, "All right, I'm in. What you want me to do?" And here we are now.
That's
Yeah.
a cool deal too, man, because I think that what really has made Tyler and Brian successful is, as far as on this scale of things, they're the youngest guys that have been successful now. Hopefully y'all are not hearing George having to yell at his kids back there, but on the YouTube side, I know you guys can hear it. But anyways, George kid's about to get it. I can tell you that right now. But anyways, what was I talking about? So TB, anyway, them being younger guys, I think they can see more towards what people are wanting, because you guys are obviously younger than Brian and Tyler. I think Tyler's a little younger than me, but I think Brian is my age. And most of the people that are racing now, me and Brian are getting more towards the middle age crowd now, like getting a little closer to that. So those guys are all racing, and everybody younger than them. And I think you guys are getting ready. I was telling George yesterday, I said, man, what I really like about these guys is they're still starting out, but it seems to me like you guys are being mildly successful at getting people to jump on board with you and help you out, like companies like VP and stuff like that. And that's something that I think a lot of the promotions have lacked over the years, of getting more involvement from outside sources. And then you guys also understand the fact that live streaming is important to a race, to get eyes on it and to sell sponsors that way and say, this is how you're going to be visible. And then that attracts more racers to come. Do you think that that's kind of one of your strong suits, to just being in the younger generation?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that it is. You talk about, how important it is to get people behind you and everything. And really, I mean, to be honest with you, we went to PRI this year and we were trying to find anyone that would talk to us. Because, I have some connections, but not maybe not necessarily the greatest of connections. And Jesse has some connections, but might not necessarily be the greatest. So, we just started by just going up and introducing ourselves and telling people who we were and why what we're wanting to do. And we're very fortunate to have the companies behind us that we have, VP and Fuel Tech and Larice Motorsports Insurance, and a host of others. We couldn't do what we're doing right now without them for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's half the battle, man, is just going up and starting a conversation, because you're never going to meet anybody if you don't go talk to anybody. But the thing that I've noticed that you guys do that very, very few people do is, for example, coming on this show, I noticed you guys were announcing, hey, by the way, we're going to be on Going Bracket Racing tomorrow at this time. Hey, guys, don't forget, today we're going to be on Going Bracket Racing at this time. So if you want to learn about us, like, because you can't just, like, in today's age, you can't just swing the gates open and expect people to show up and say, wow, we're racing for more money today. That's pretty cool. Like, you guys are taking the extra step and saying, we're here, guys. Don't forget about us. Don't forget about us. And that's what I just like, the fact that you guys clearly are willing to go the extra mile, in my opinion, without ever having been to one of your events. Just seeing the way that you're already pushing it, I feel like you guys, like, obviously everybody would want to be successful because nobody wants to lose money on these deals. But the fact of the matter is, you guys are already going the extra mile that a lot of people don't go, in my opinion.
yep. Yeah.
Right.
Your flyer was the first thing that I really bought into pretty quick. You guys were reaching out, getting things done as far as for even the round giveaways. Those little subtle pieces of, hey, this is how much we appreciate y'all coming out to our race, whether you're wasting fuel or not. I'm gonna say that a couple times. It is what it is. But I love the name, by the way. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to do the best that I can as Wasting Fuel Promotions to make you feel a little less like you wasted your fuel. Let's have some fun. Here's a dinner over here. Hey, and we're going to get into this, so I'm not even going to talk about the junior giveaway you guys got, but it is a subject that I really want to touch, and maybe we'll get at it later. But one thing I know is that this isn't your first go round. We know you had that race at Coles County. And talk about some of the ideas that you're going to bring from that race into the race at Ellis 57. We're going to call it Benton more than likely throughout this show, or I-57, because that's what we know it as. Talk to me about that, Jesse.
Well, I think, I mean, this is such a generic answer, but we just learned so much from the first event, promoting and race control wise, you know, decision making. We got a lot of stuff right, but we also got some stuff wrong. I know for sure going in, we kind of experimented with a little bit of a weird format as far as how we were combining box and no box, and it kind of turned into this too many buy runs, and it added a round to the race, and it was a mistake, and it was completely my fault. Of course, we made it right. We added another round of round money at the end of the race, but um, so we've gone and we've changed that. I doubt most people even remember it happened because it actually went over relatively smoothly when it did happen.
Right.
But it didn't in my head, and definitely didn't in the tower when we figured that out. We were a little worried, but stuff like that, and just overall, I feel like our staff coordination, which is completely me. I'm not saying it's our staff's fault. I learned a lot from that weekend, and I feel like I was probably a little overbearing on a lot of my staff. So things like that, learning how to manage myself and people, definitely things I took away from the first event, and I feel like will improve the second event going in for not only the people that are attending, but the people that are working for me.
Yep. And I'm gonna go here with you, Adam, because I feel like I streamed an event here in Ennis, Texas, that you may have been behind the mic for, and definitely can remember your calls being spot on, like enjoying it. Like, Adam's on the mic, this is going to get interesting. And then watching the chat as I'm live streaming on the scaffold, I always do that, and that way I can kind of get a little bit of input from the bleachers there. But getting great feedback, I would have to imagine we're going to hear you behind the mic at Benton Ellis 57, at least some this upcoming event.
There's always that chance that I might be on there a little bit, but we have two really good announcers, Ron Veach and Jace Wanamaker. Jace was, when me and Jesse first started planning our deal for this year and everything, the first name that I told him I wanted to bring on board was Jace. The kid just graduated high school last year. He's from Martin, Michigan area. I've known him and his family for several years now, and I've heard him announce at Martin, and he goes down and works for Jared and Steve with promotions, doing the foot brake challenge races. And the kid's got a lot of talent, probably more talent than I have, and I have no shame saying that whatsoever. So I'm really excited to have him coming down with us, and especially because of, the biggest thing I've always hit on with announcing is it's really important to have two contrasting styles in your tower, because, after lap, you kind of start. So to be able to bring both Ron and Jace together, to have them, going back and forth and trading the mic back and forth, it's going to be great for the people at home that are listening, and it's going to be great for the people at the track that have to hear it as well.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, man, because listen, well, first of all, as a guy who's announced, I'm sure you know that talking for 14 hours a day for 3 days straight doesn't work out very well. It just doesn't. You're not as excited the second day, and then definitely not for the third day, because that announcer has to stay up from first pair all the way to the very last guy, then interview him. So, yeah, and it's just better for everybody, because then you can get two guys in the booth at once just BSing whenever there's oil down or something crazy happens to cause a delay, weather, hopefully not. But, the fact of the matter is it just takes up time. There's always something to do. What do you guys feel like in this high dollar bracket scene that we got going on and have had going on for at least 5-6 years now? What do you think that we need more of nowadays? Like, it could be anything, like literally, some separate type of event, golf cart races, just
Fun.
just the fun.
That is
Yeah,
that is something that
just-
these big events lack greatly. And I'm not knocking anybody, because I still will, I'll show up to every big event and support all the big promoters every day of the week. But everything is way too serious at a big event. I can go to a big event and have a terrible time and not, and it's not, I'm not blaming a promoter for any of that, but I mean, aside from a racer appreciation dinner, I could go to an event and just race and not do anything, and that doesn't distinguish that event from any other event I could go to at any other track at any other given time. So I think that is something that needs worked on. It's something that we're trying to incorporate. Obviously, if you've seen our flyer, and if you knew what we were working on for the summer race, you would definitely know. So that's definitely something we're trying to incorporate on. We see that there's a gap in that market for, just having fun. We're racing for a lot of money, but at the end of the day, if it's not fun, why are we doing it?
I like to hear you say that, man, because me and George have had that conversation more times than I could even think. I mean, we've been having that conversation for probably once a week for years.
Yeah.
It's so I'm glad to hear you guys saying that, especially considering that you guys are new to the game and hopefully you'll stay around for a long time, and maybe you can bring some of that back, because it is too serious, man. I mean, we've had countless shows on here where, in fact, just last week I was talking to JP this morning, and he said something about something that had to do with that. And I said, yeah, I just said that on the show last week. I'm not going to make my hobby a job. I have enough jobs. I don't need another job, So it's great to hear you say that. That's a long-winded way of saying that.
Right, right. So normally I wouldn't go to this question, but I'm gonna do it right now because we're not quite to our marketing partners' time where we'll cut to commercials, take a quick little break, and get back to everybody. I'm gonna go to question number 5 because I feel like it's a good time for it. Kind of piggybacks off of the notion of having fun. Larice Motorsports Insurance comes in with the Racers Appreciation Dinner. That's number 1. Let's start there, guys. Picking Larice to do anything in the sport of drag racing is always a positive. Talk to me about the Larice Motorsports Dinner, which day it might be on if you know it. Let's tell the racers when they get there what's going to be happening.
Yeah, so the Larice Motorsports Dinner is going to be on Saturday night at both events. And they were a company that I personally have been dealing with now for like 2 years or so. All of our stuff is covered by Larice. So then at PRI, we got to talking to them, and they were like, yeah, we'll do something. Let's talk more about it. And as we got into more in-depth talk, they just kind of told us, they're like, yeah, whatever you want to do, we'll do it. And so we said, well, what do you think? Do you want to do a dinner or something? They're like, yeah, we'll do the dinner. And so we're really blessed to have them come on board, because then that gives us an opportunity to, again, like you say, thank everybody that, shows up to that weekend. The cost of fuel prices right now is not cheap, as we've all seen and paid attention. So anybody that's willing to choose to spend their weekend with us, the least we can do is at least give them a free meal on Saturday night. So we're really appreciative to Larice to bring them on board for that as well.
Pretty solid. Talk to me next about this Junior Dragster Points program. And I don't know, Casey, if you want me to go ahead and ask the giveaway question now. I feel like it's important to ask it because it's just a hot topic across the world of Junior Dragster racing. And that's FTI's EFI system that I do feel like I read you guys say Fuel Tech. Sorry, FTI. Fuel Tech's I can't speak. The system, the EFI system that you guys, I do believe, are giving away at this event. Talk to me about that, because I feel like that's huge in more than one way. Talk to me.
Well, I mean, I as much as it's cliche to say it, electronic fuel injection is the way of the future. You don't typically make as much peak horsepower, but you're going to make better, efficient horsepower throughout the pull if you're talking big cars. If you're talking juniors, the bog that's on the starting line that nobody can seem to fix, the mystical bog, I think those problems go away with this system. That being said, NHRA hasn't approved it yet, but they are legal for our events, obviously. That being said, being that they're so new, I don't know that we'll have any entered this year, but in the future, it's a possibility. And the industry that I work in, I work for some garden tractor pullers, tractor pulling people, and they deal with these Mikuni carburetors and things like that. And to be honest with you, as far as cost goes, because that's the number one argument against it, is junior dragster racing is becoming so cost prohibitive. And don't get me wrong, it is. It's insanity. So is everything else. The bodies of these Mikuni carburetors are getting to the point where they cost like $500 without any machine work just to get the casting, because of the forgeries that don't produce them here anymore. So you got to go over to China and then ship them over here. That was a conversation I had with my boss just a couple months ago, where EFI might become cheaper than carburation in the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's definitely something, man. I mean, I've been out of that junior dragster game for a very, very long time. Like, I'm from the Blockzilla days, man. So like when that first came out, we had the first 3-inch bore deal, and we were like, here we go, So, but anyway, the thing that I've been trying to get everybody to push on that whole junior dragster deal that I just don't understand is, why is it illegal why can't we just put like a motor out of a Polaris 570 four-wheeler or something like Polaris Sportsman. Why can't we put something like that in there, a Honda motor or something you just go down the street and get parts? Because, I mean, I feel like if like I have the reason I said that Polaris Sportsman is because I got one of those. It's fuel injected and everything, and it's just a 570, and that thing will run like 45 mile an hour on a four-wheel drive four-wheeler with me on it. So it'd go fast in a junior dragster, but you could gear it down and everything. You could run that thing your entire junior dragster career. And those things are made to have some kid ride them and put them in a pond and drag them out and drain the water out and change the oil and go ride them again, you know?
That is, I mean, that's a good point, but then, you're getting into a whole nother world of, what basically comes down to lobbying, NHRA. So
Yep.
I don't want to get too deep into that other than, there's a reason that it's like that.
Well, also, iTray approved the fuel tech stuff as soon as it came out. And I think, Donnie, this track is iTray anyways, right? So,
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
so whoever wins that will be able to actually use it.
Well, let's talk about that because I didn't even mention what we're doing. I just talked about the EFI system.
Yep.
So, Adam and I kind of got a harebrained idea. We're going to have these juniors. We want to include them. They're the future of the sport. And, the memories that I have racing with my parents and obviously everybody else, we want people to be able to make those memories at our events too. So we're having juniors at both races, and we decided we were going to do points. So we're keeping track of all the rounds and everything, and whoever has the most points at the end of the series is going to get a $1,500 full EFI system from our friends at Fuel Tech, and we can't thank them enough for coming on board. And obviously, it's super exciting. It's a great deal. As far as the entry fee to payout ratio, and then on top of that, the chance to win the EFI system. So, dude, we're pumped for that.
That's pretty neat.
And it's 16 only juniors, right? Is that what I read on the flyer? So yeah, that's right. So so for all the big car guys, don't worry. There's not going to be 50 juniors there that you're going to have to deal with too. There's only 16. That's 8 pairs. That's no big deal. That's fine. We can all deal with that. Not to mention, probably most of those guys are going to come with their dads that are going to race the race anyway. So they all know how it is. But that's another thing. I think at this point, like I said, I mean, I came from junior dragster, so I don't think that's going to be an issue so much anymore as the years go on. Maybe 10 years from now, pretty much everybody came from them. So maybe they won't complain so much anymore about that because I don't.
Wishful thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to stop, right? But I mean, will it ever? And last but not least, before we go to that commercial break, I just talked about the wheelie and the burnout contest, which I'm really looking forward to that, guys. I've not been in attendance at very many of those. I don't know if I've been ever to a wheelie or a burnout competition, and I get to watch it from the scaffold, which is going to be pretty doggone fun. As I flashed your flyer across the screen here, talk to me about that wheelie contest and anything else you want to hit on this flyer because the viewers are going to be looking at it. Go for it.
Well, I think, I hate to keep talking and not let Adam speak, but this is another thing that, a great friend of mine, Nick Agresta, he unfortunately passed away this last fall, and he is the reason that we are involved with VP in the first place, just as a footnote. So big thanks to him. But he used to have this saying, if he was signing off of a phone call or a meeting or an email, he'd always say, "Do a wheelie." And if it was on the microphone at the track, he was an announcer for many years all over the place, mainly at Crossroads Dragway at Terre Haute, what was known then as Crossroads, excuse me. So we wanted to do something for him, and we felt like that was the perfect thing to do. And we were talking about fun at our events, and it just kind of all the stars aligned. So I called his wife, and we talked for a while, and we put that together, and that's, completely for our friend Nick. And, the burnout thing, it goes well together. It comes back to, fun. And if your car can't do a wheelie, it can do a burnout. So, you know, who knows? We might do a dry hop bonus too.
Oh.
But, you know, fun is the name of the game. We definitely want to see one of those dragsters pull them up and put them in the air. Obviously, you know, that's $1,000 if a dragster wins. But you know, we,
Our buddy
I,
might come up there.
hey,
Yeah.
you know, the more the merrier.
Pretty awesome. We got more coming up here pretty soon, guys. Got to give our marketing partners a chance to bend your ear a little bit, maybe say something that might tickle, get you to go over to their website and order something. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more with Adam and Jesse of the Wasting Fuel Promotions team. Hang in there. Be right back.
Prepare to be amazed by the Lightning Bolt Mini Alternator, a technological marvel that defies physics. This alternator is nearly 40% lighter than a conventional 10SI, yet it kicks out more than 80 amps at idle and over 100 amps at full throttle. All this power is packed into a 7-pound 98mm case. Its unique aluminum housing, featuring eye-catching lightning bolt cutouts, adds a touch of style to your engine. Installation is a breeze with a one-wire hookup and standard V-belt pulley. For those seeking a seamless replacement, choose the Lightning Bolt with the 10SI adapter, or opt for the standard 93mm universal mount version for more customization. Plus, separate serpentine pulleys are available. Don't settle for less. Upgrade to the Lightning Bolt Mini Alternator today and experience unparalleled performance and style.
BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts are able to provide you with whatever you desire to enhance your drag racing operation. Items like safety belt magnets, nitrous bottle holders, and even quick release delay box mounts are able to be obtained from BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts. Have a look at top selling items such as helmet hooks and steering wheel hooks, which are proven to make it easier to maneuver throughout your race car. You can contact BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts at telephone number 765-729-1177.
Back road to the burnout. GBR rematch.
All right.
Back road to
Coming
the
back.
burnout box.
Going bracket racing. I can't even remember what episode it is, but thanks for being
228.
228, he says. 228. Thanks for being with us so many different times, guys. Special shout out to all the marketing partners that help us do this, be it BRG Motorsports 3D printed parts, Gearhead Solutions, Team 14 Motorsports, Syntex Printing, TSR Racing Products, Driven Racing Oil, Ken Jones Performance, 8th Mile Apparel, Mid-State Dragway, Crew Chief Pro, and of course Proform Parts. Can't thank you guys enough for being here with us on Going Bracket Racing. A special shout out as always to the Going Bracket Racing community. Without you guys coming in, watching, hitting the like, hitting the share, and even going to those marketing partners and enhancing your racing programs. Special shout out to you guys for being with us. We're back, of course, with Wasting Fuel Promotions. Adam and Jesse here getting at it. Casey, the question is to you for number 6 on the list, and I'll let you go ahead and ask that question.
Yeah, man. I know we touched on it a little bit earlier, but I don't think I got. Sorry about that. Pollen in my throat. I got that.
Hey, before
Yeah.
you do, Casey, man, I got something real quick out of Jack Nolan. Now, Jesse and Adam, I'm going to guess that you probably know who Jack Nolan is, but he's asking, is there a...
really?
Huh?
I said, unfortunately, you know.
Oh, Jack. Hey, Jack, I'll let you come back after a while. But he's asking, is there a complaint department established yet for this event?
Jesse, you want to tell him?
Yeah, it's at Jack Nolan's trailer.
Oh, sorry about that, Casey. Go
So,
ahead.
no, anyway, I know we touched on it a little bit earlier, but I don't think I got you guys full opinions. But, live streaming, obviously, that's a relatively new thing in our sport for sure. It's been around, forever for, the big shows and whatnot, but it's really coming forward in bracket racing. And, there's some people who choose to get a live stream. There's some people who don't choose to get a live stream. Obviously, that's something that's 100% up to the promoter. what type of benefits do you guys see in having an event live streamed?
Well, I think it kind of goes back to, like when I was in middle school and high school, I used to get in trouble in school all the time because I would open my laptop up and I was tuning on to whatever Motor Mania was streaming that. So I think it kind of goes into that. Like, the importance of a live stream is it is a way to get kids interested in the sport. If they see it, they might go, "Oh, hey, there's race cars. Let's check this out." And then they, maybe they watch it, maybe they get hooked, and then, they might go home to their parents that have no clue what drag racing is, and they might go, "Hey, look at this." And then next thing you know, you have a new person or new family that are coming into the sport, which I think is always a good thing. But on the marketing side of it, live streaming is everything because, obviously you guys know, you have partners that you guys work with, and your live streams, you have commercials that you're able to their product through, and when you have round sponsors and stuff, a live stream, you're able to say that company's name multiple times throughout the course of an event, and promote the companies that are supporting you. So live streams are crucial for an event, in my opinion. And it is an expense. I know for you guys it is not cheap to do a stream, and between your travel costs and then what it actually costs you at the track to run one. So I know it's not easy for every event to have a live stream, but I do wish there were more events that could.
Right.
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree, man. I think that anybody who doesn't have an event live streamed, that's, obviously if you're going to have, a couple 5 granders or something at your local track, it's really not feasible to live stream it. But with stuff like what you guys are doing and just the upper echelon of things, I feel like if it's not live streamed, you're really doing yourself a disservice as a promoter, because it only stands to really, at least a lot of cases, in George's experience, in a lot of cases, a sponsor will pay for the live stream anyway. So now, not only is the live stream paid for, now you can upsell that to other people and make money off of it. So you're really just leaving money on the table for yourself. And it's really not a pain, because honestly, that's George's problem. Like, you pay for a service, that's his deal. He's got to make it work. It doesn't make your life any more difficult.
And
right.
and I like everything you said, Adam, is 100% spot on. I'm gonna jump off of what you said and just bring out the fact that there are a lot of people in this country, as we have people in here from upstate New York on the stream right now. We got people out in other countries. I can't remember where he's from. I can't remember where Texas is from, but we have a lot of people in the stream that don't readily get to see different types of racetracks. Well, I can tell you right now that nobody has ever, unless I'm wrong here, or you've watched a cell phone clip, nobody has seen LS57 Speedway on a live stream. And I am definitely tickled to get you guys a view at that racetrack, because that's only going to equal more people coming back or coming to that event in the future in the first place.
Right.
That's all
Yeah,
I
I
have.
think Adam nailed it as far as, some of the philosophy behind it. I think, in addition to that, people want to race in front of people. There's a reason that people keep going back to NHRA, and, secret, it's not the $2,000 payout for the $400 entry fee. When you pull up and everybody's waiting on Funny Car to go, and you're in the final round of Super Gas and there's 50,000 people in the stands, that's pretty special. And we want to recreate that same feeling at our events. So putting the live stream out there gets another 1,000 eyes. People know it's happening. It brings another level of, you could say pressure, but you could also say prestige and notoriety. That we definitely want to bring to our racers that are spending their money. We want to do everything, spending their money to race with us. We want to do everything we can to elevate them and make them feel like they're the star of the show that weekend.
And I won't rabbit hole us too hard, Casey, because I know we got another question coming up. But Ellis 57 Speedway has always been one of those places that the community gravitates to. You always see a really good spectator count, at least you used to. And I hadn't been in a few years, but all the times I go, there's always a lot of spectators or trucks lined up down the racetrack watching. Man, just something that it needs to be seen, because a lot of tracks don't get to see the amount of spectators that actually show up to still watch drag racing. So that part's big to me too. Pre-entry starts tomorrow. Guys, let's talk to them about the pre-entry, how to get entered into the race, what you're taking as far as for caps. Unless we're going to park on I-57, I don't care. Let's do it. I want to do it. Let's park on the interstate. All right, what they going to do? That'd probably be dangerous. Talk to us about pre-entry, guys.
Yeah, so pre-entry opens tomorrow on our website. It is $100 deposit, saves your spot, and then the remaining $475 is due at the gate. The reason we did that is because we don't want to hold your money for 3 months, nor should you expect, nor do we want you to expect us to hold your money for 3 months, I should say. So $100 deposit, and it is, 100% refundable. If you can't make it or whatever, you get in contact with us, we will take care of that. The reason that there is pre-entry is because obviously it is capped. It's capped at 300 entries, 32 of those being no box. So we will have 268 268 box cars, 32 no box cars, and then the 16 juniors as well. If you have ever been to I-57, you know that we're not getting any more than 300 cars in that facility. The facility is very nice, and the parking situation is decent for what it is, but it's just not physically big enough to hold more than that, which is why we settled on that 300 number. So, we might even be packing them in a little tight as it is, but nonetheless, we have plenty of room for everybody. And so if we sell out, that's probably our biggest concern is, making sure that we can fit everyone. So.
But at least you have all that time in advance to plan that out. Go look at the lay of the land and try to figure out how you're going to do it, because doubles are allowed as well. So
yes,
won't be 300 cars or rigs, I guess I should say, because it's the trailers. Obviously, that's the problem, man. Because I-57, I know they've done a lot of upgrades, but I-57 was built whenever it was always a truck and an open trailer. It wasn't built whenever we started having 48-foot goosenecks and stuff. But it's a great place to go. And like George said, man, the coolest part about Benton is they actually have a fan base that goes to that track. Like, that is their hobby. They go to that track every weekend, and it'll be lined from the top to the bottom. So at the very least, even if there wasn't a live stream, the entire town of Benton, Illinois will know who won that race, because they'll be out there betting on you and grilling and doing all kinds of stuff. So it's a really cool place to be. Everybody who goes to this race, I'm sure, will enjoy it. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you guys want to talk about while we're on here?
No, but I kind of have a funny story. You talk about the amount of spectator support that Ben gets. I had never been down there until about 4 or so years ago, and I was actually still working with Steve at 41 at the time. This was before he left to go to 57. And they had called us the one weekend, and I think I can't remember what race it was, but they had some sort of radial prep deal that they were going on, and they were struggling at the time with track prep and just wasn't kind of getting anywhere with it. So Donnie had actually asked Steve if he would be willing to stay down in Benton that weekend and work there. And so Steve asked me if I would go and help him out. And so I said, of course. And as we were riding down there, he told me, he goes, "Now I got to warn you." He goes, "This place is different." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Well, this is a bracket race, and then they're going to have about 4 or 5 radio cars, and we're really only here for the radio cars." He goes, "But all the people that are spectating, they're there for test and tune. It doesn't matter what's racing. If the track is open, they're there." And I'm like, okay, well, how many people can it really be? I'm thinking 20, 30 people at most. It's a little small town. And when I talked to Donnie at the end of the night, I believe he said that at one point they had 240 some spectators that night just for a test and a gambler's bracket race and like 4 or 5 radio cars. And
Yep.
it was just insane. And all the people are standing up on the fence every single time. It didn't matter if your mom was staging up in a Toyota Camry or if there was John Force in a funny car right behind her. They were standing up on the fence watching every single car go down track and laughing and cheering, and just it was definitely culture shock for me to see how much support that track gets from that town, and just how much they appreciate that facility.
It
You
is
know what would
definitely.
be a cool thing to do if you guys can make it happen if there's time. I know there's a lot going on during an event, but I feel like it would be cool since you have a live stream anyway to maybe go like interview one or two of those people and be like, why do you come here so much? Like, and just figure like, cause I've always wondered that, man. Like I grew up at that place. In fact, I busted my nose open on a trailer running up and down a flatbed trailer there one time. And I think it was Scotty Beezer. He might be watching this show. I don't know. But anyway, he grabbed me out of my mom's arms because I was like 5, maybe 4, maybe. And because he's like, I can run faster than you with him. You want me to do it? Just grabbed me and ran me to the ambulance, figure out how to get my busted nose taken care of. But there's always been like that. I mean, I cannot remember a time that there wasn't a ton of spectators, but it would be great to know why are they so interested in, bracket racing? We all get put down on the internet. Everybody supposedly hates bracket racing, yet you turn on a live stream and there'll be 5,000 people watching. But they don't. Obviously, they just like cars and all that stuff. It'd be cool to maybe to interview them if you had time. But
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I think I've hung out with those people before. I went down to Luke's race a few years ago, and I tried to qualify for the burnout competition and muffed the tires pretty hard. So I was not a hero. Funny story. I actually went up to the tower and told him, "Hey, watch this." And the guy I was running, it was Jensen, Jeremy Jensen in that white Roadster. And I told him, hey, you don't want to start because I'm going all the way down the track. And I went 40 feet and just muffed the tire. And nobody knew what was going on. They said it over the PA. Oh, watch this. This is going to be cool. It was not cool.
it
But
was not cool.
yeah, but so anyway, I was over there talking to those folks, and they're great people. And I still remember, I'm Facebook friends with the one guy, and I see him posts every once in a while, specifically that I was talking to. I don't think we can shove a microphone in their face and keep it PG-13 though.
No, probably not.
My brain was spinning. I was like, Casey, man, you gonna get us all shut
Yeah.
down, man. What you doing?
Yeah, no.
George about
Yeah.
to have a heart attack
Ooh,
over
over here
there.
having a panic attack. Hey, check
Hey.
it though. First question we got here that's genuine. And Jack Nolan, he says he's being genuine now. All right, Jack Nolan asking, is it going to be dragsters separate from door cars? That's a good question.
That will depend on the pre-entry information that comes in after we open pre-entry. If we've got enough to viably do it, we'll do it. But if we've got 10 dragsters, then no, they'll just run together.
Mm-hmm. That was a great answer too, by the way. I don't even think, Jesse, I've ever heard that answer put in that way, because what are you going to do if you don't get a lot of dragsters show up? I mean, what are you, or door cars for that matter, and you've got on the flyer, well, we're separate until the final. I would love to be at that event, especially if you're gonna go by the flyer, to be that lone door car, because some of those flyers say dragster door car final. Well, if I'm just the only door car left, does that mean I get a free ride all the way to the final? Well, I would love to
Right.
to be in that situation. That's a great answer, by the way. That is a great answer. Casey,
Yeah,
what
the
else
thing
you got?
is, that area is primarily a lot of door cars anyway,
Yeah.
so there probably won't even be an issue with that. There might only be 10 dragsters there because a lot of the guys in that area have a door car and a dragster, and when they go to Benton, they run the door car, and
Yep.
whenever they go to Gateway, they run the dragster.
Now, I
So
don't know about that one though.
that's what we used to do.
I have a strange feeling this is going to be pretty even. I think, especially because a lot of the only other events that are bigger in the money that I'm familiar with is the door car summer door car shootout that Luke used to put on. Now,
But they didn't pay as much money as these guys,
they didn't pay this much money,
other than the high roller deal.
but they didn't allow dragsters either. And there are a lot of dragsters sitting there looking on the outside, looking in, like, man, I would have loved to have been in that
That is
race.
true, man.
And so there's,
With-
I think it's gonna be pretty even.
With the amount, yeah, with the amount of money that Waste and Fuel is throwing around, that's true. People might say, well, I'm better in my dragster, and they might bring it. That's true.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
you never know, man. Pluses and minuses to everything. The good part about door cars is whenever you're worrying about parking spots, you can park door cars behind the trailer. Those
Really?
dragster guys, you'd be like, look, man, one of you's parking on the other side next to this other dragster. We're only
Yeah.
using one spot.
You got 5 of them in front of one big old stacker. You know what I mean? That's fine by me, though. Go on, bring it. But guys, we've come up on the hour. That's normally the stopping point for this show, but we'll keep it moving if you got more to let out. So keep your mind moving. But one thing I want to make sure you guys get a chance to do is to shout out anybody that you have to thank for helping you to get this event put on behalf of Going Bracket Racing. Casey and I thank you ourselves for giving back to our sport. So whoever you got to thank, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big list, for sure. So obviously, VP Racing Fuels, Larice Motorsports Insurance, Fuel Tech, Fab Machining. Without those guys, I mean, the event's probably not happening. And then we have all kinds of great round sponsors and everybody that's come on board. Abruzzi, Go Dead On, Honey Creek Collision, Wired Designs, GBR, Going Bracket Racing. You guys stepped up, jumped on board as a round sponsor. Mickey Thompson Tires, Larry Hodge. There's all kinds of great people that are behind this event. So it's not just us two, and without them, this wouldn't be possible for sure. Willenborg's Reconditioning is sponsoring our best appearing car for the weekend. So we have all kinds of different fun prizes to do. We're bringing back the Most Wasted Fuel Award that we gave away last year. Best appearing car. What else do we got? Yeah, best burnout, wheelie. All kinds of fun stuff to just make the event a little bit more memorable, even if you're not the one holding a $20,000 check at the end of the weekend. And I do have. Me and Jesse came up with an idea for trophies, and we're not going to reveal them yet. But our trophies, when they are done, is going to be one of the coolest trophies I've ever seen. And I'm not just saying that because it's, something we're giving away, but it is something I think that a lot of people would be very proud to display.
That's cool, man, because, the money spends and it's gone. Depending on whose pocket it's in, it might be gone before they get home. But the trophy stays there forever. And not to mention the trophy, that's what people always see. And then that's another marketing thing for the future. Like 10 years from now, you might be getting people saying, man, I walked into so-and-so's house and I saw this trophy and I had to go there and try to get me one, So very, very cool, man. I'm glad we got to talk to you guys on here. I think you guys are doing great things, and I hope that everything's successful, and we'll do everything we can to help you out with everything. And appreciate you both coming on, man.
That's spot on.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah,
we appreciate the opportunity.
Hey, anytime. So if you have any updates you want to make, I'm looking forward to posting tomorrow, probably a couple hours after you guys go live, that the event sold out. So I'll definitely get that out there for you as fast as possible. Okay, but if you got any updates you need to make or any announcements you want to make, let us know. We'll get them out there as well. But guys, thanks for joining us for another episode of Going Bracket Racing, right here on YouTube, Facebook. I guess we're on Spotify. We're probably going across somebody's speakers, as they probably should be paying attention to the road. Be safe out there. Get into this race. Get in where you fit in. Don't lag. You won't get in. See you guys next Tuesday. Peace out.
Pumping loud on the dash where the country boys winch and the city boys clash. When that pre-stage flickers, everybody gets quiet. Hit the loud pedal hard, let the whole crowd riot.
I know,
Porter Tree.
Yeah, it's fine.
We got mud on the tires, slicks in the trailer, VP in the jug, beer in the cooler from the club.
But it's a lot better than.
Hold on. They said they forgot somebody, so I came back. Y'all thought we was going. It's almost April Fool. I said, psych, we back. All right. Did y'all say y'all forgot a sponsor?
Yeah, I'll take the blame for that one. Porter Tree, we got to thank them as well. Got to shout them out. Allison, stepped on board with us this year, and I reached out there and said, "Hey, are you interested?" And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "What do you think about this? Like, let's take like the worst winning reaction time and give them an award." I'm like, "Cool." Like, she goes, "Okay, I'll send you some gift certificates." And a week later, 6 gift certificates showed up at my house. I mean, so obviously got to give a huge shout out to Portatree for being willing to come on board, because a company like that, they don't really have to jump on board at races with us, because they have the market cornered. There's no one else making practice trees right now, but the fact that they're willing to come on board with us means a lot. So got to thank Allison and everybody over at Portatree for all their support as well.
That's
Yeah, that whole deal was pretty cool, and it's funny, you win with the worst reaction time and you get a certificate to go buy a practice tree. Get better, dummy. But while we're here and doing take two, I want to thank Steve Keys for being great to work with and great to us. I'm very happy to be working with Steve and very thankful for his cooperation, I guess you could say. I can't think of the word, but thanks, Steve.
Collaboration, maybe.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. All right, look, guys, we're gone this time. See y'all later.